Okay, hello, my friends, teacher, mates. My name is Helmut Torres Hernandez, and I am part of this course of language and culture. And here I am with teacher Luis Perez, who I'm going to introduce you later on. And we are here to talk about this subject related to language, culture, and the teaching of languages. So, teacher, how are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very well.
Okay, teacher, can you tell me something about your academic background?
Well, I'm a bachelor from Universidad Atlántico. Also, I have a master in TESOL from Universidad Curazao. I am a state teacher and also a university teacher in la Universidad de Sucre. I teach English and literature.
And literature. Okay, well, talking about that, especially literature is very related to culture. Can you tell me in your words what you mean by the word, by the term culture?
Well, culture is not a single term for me. Uh, there are more than 300 definitions of culture. But for me, culture is a term that is related to what you do in the classroom and the community you are involved. That's why I talk about local culture. Um, and then that's why culture is not a single term. It's a term that adjusts to your environment. It involves the beliefs of the community you are in.
Well, uh, well, obviously culture influences many things around all we have, all we do, and obviously it has to permeate the educational field as well. How can we probably measure that influence of culture when we talk about languages teaching?
Oh yeah. Well, as I told you, uh, culture is not a single term. I'm gonna put an example. I work in a school because I'm a high school teacher, 6th and 7th graders. The community where I am involved has a culture inside a local culture. I mean, there's the community culture inside a local culture. Culture here is selected. Every neighborhood has an independent culture. If you go to the university, there is also a culture that is the sum of many cultures which a student can with. Um, for example, the school. The students have this way of thinking, and that's shape their attitudes and their interests in terms of learning. That's why I talk about a single culture at the school community where I work at.
And obviously that it has a different influence depending on the environment and the context
Yes,
you're teaching. Probably the student that you teach at the university have a different context, and obviously that context is going to create a different culture that influences the teaching of the language in
Yes, of
various
course,
ways.
because it represents that culture is represented by the beliefs of the community. The schools, the students, they don't see English apart from their environment. So that's why, as a teacher, that's something that we're going to talk later. Uh, we have to work with the community beliefs in order to make a meaningful approach to their interests. The student at the university have interests which are completely different to those students from the school. Um, and those beliefs are the sum of their interests and what they expect from tutoring and what they look for in the university to for the future academic and professional life.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Um, in terms of it, how or what way do you, when you teach in both environments, but I believe that preferably you do it more when you teach at university, how do you involve this cultural aspect when you're teaching in your classes? Well, you already gave a couple examples, but when you're teaching, for example, literature, how do you involve that cultural part in your classes?
Oh, yeah. First one, I say the environment of the school. In the school, where I design my own teaching material, that is, those are worksheets, right? So I have to talk about the local community, which I put the local community in the worksheet because the student have to see that represented on the worksheet.
That will
Like,
make it easier to
yeah,
understand.
it's easier to understand because here we talk about the neighborhoods, they live there. The local references, for example, we have Plaza de Mahahual. I put Plaza de Mahahual there in the worksheet. I have the name of the teacher. Uh, if I am a teacher, for example, locations, asking for a given direction, I have to use the references of Cincinnati. I cannot use the reference from a book, uh, from a book, an EFL book, which use different terms uh, from the community. That's why. At the university, of course, I do not make any, I teach literature, British and American literature. I have to use the culture of those countries because the literature is always related to the culture people live in the moment, and time, history. But also I have to relate that content of literature to the students' real life, real content, real culture. Right? If I'm teaching, for example, Edgar Allan Poe's short tales, I have to use it first to teach the context of those tales and then put it in contact with the local community. That is, contextualize the culture. In the culture, the culture of the book in the culture of the students.
Well, some other or some different thing can be when you are probably teaching a language and you take this moment as a very good example or opportunity of teaching some cultural situations or events or backgrounds or beliefs or customs or whatever from those countries that have the language you teach, which is probably the other side of the coin. From on one side is contextualizing the language you're teaching to the local context, yes, to make students this something familiar to them, and but on the other hand is obviously bringing the culture of the language to the classroom. So you think have you ever done this last thing in your classes?
Well, I tried to teach you language when I'm using this as a culture, as a vehicle of culture. I try to have separated things. I'm not pro-American. I'm not pro-British. I'm not pro any culture or any country. It's because we have a local context. And a local culture, I don't want to displace my own local culture and just learn the language as a vehicle. But I have to use the local context and relate it to the context of the language. It's because they cannot be separated. But bearing in mind that our culture, in which we are involved most of the time, is meaningful for us. Uh, in that case, bringing the foreign language culture to the classroom, I use it. I use it as a vehicle for learning the language. As a vehicle only, not as a reference.
Yeah, but because you cannot say real things about that because you haven't lived in. Uh, well, and well, a part of we learn a lot from it in the university, and probably when we read literature and we watch videos, we learn a lot about that. But we're not living the day by day there, and if you haven't had that experience, obviously you cannot say more than little references that you can have from others or from a book or from a video or from something you read. Yeah. Well, talking about those successful experiences that we can have when we are teaching, what do you think are the key elements that any teacher has to bear into account, to bring into the pocket, to have a hand reach, to be successful in this in this life of teaching a second language? What are the key elements for teaching as well as learning the second language or a foreign language?
Yeah. Well, it's something curious because I have always talk about teaching set, right? It's like a teaching tool, but it's not a teaching tool you will find in books on foreign language teaching and learning uh, tools. You know, it's what you think are good for you in order to use it in the classroom.
What works?
For example, yeah. For example, uh, I I customize my own material. I use real material. All teachers have to develop their own philosophy of teaching. Second, they have to have a methodology based of course, the experience and on the theory of the
No,
language.
theoretical background.
Exactly. They have to be
Reference.
they have to be very resourceful in designing their own material. Yeah, in school. When a teacher now does is where I am and what we have to do with the students and what resources I need, the resources from the environment. So the teacher in that moment he or she has a point of departure for the teaching. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something in very simple words. I work in a school that we don't have video games, we don't have TV, uh, we don't even have CD player. You know, we don't have that. So I have to be resourceful enough in order to create my own material with all the things I can find in the classroom. Yeah. I designed my own worksheets. I designed my own posters. I designed my own flashcards. Right? I used things from the environment. The other day, students created things from the house with with paper, with toys they have from they brought from their houses, right? And we create the environment with cheap things they have in the houses. Yeah, it's because in a poor school you cannot be poor. In a poor school you have to be enough smart to create your own material.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that's something that is very common lastly, which is not following book, and that is the reason I don't know, many publishing houses probably are very worried about
Yeah.
because many teachers, I include myself in those, are designing their own materials because I believe there is no book that has the exact content and exact probably aims that you want to get at the end of a session or a period or a term. So it's very difficult sometimes to get the ideal book or textbook to follow a course.
Yeah, because there is not an ideal book. Yeah. There are books, right? So that's why I customize my own material. For example, here in my library I have lots of books from publishing houses, but I do not use one. I use all of them. I create. I go to the website. I use images, picture. I create. I put all together. It's like having I mean, there is a recipe, and there is a lot of ingredients, right? There's the websites provide you with plenty of images, plenty of tests, plenty of videos that most of them are free to use. So I create my own material, right? And it's mine because I know my content, I know my environment, and I know my students, and I know what they need, and I know what do I have to do with them.
Actually, that was what I was gonna tell you. It's just because we need to pick what we need because we are the only ones who know what our students. We are the only ones who know what they need. We are the only ones who know their level and how high can they get and how far can they go. So probably if we pick a book or we pick something from a publishing house, probably we're going to, parents are going to spend, or not spend, probably waste some money
Yeah.
because those books are not going to be used in 100% in the world. I believe economy is not that. Well, teacher, well, I want to thank you a lot for this nice conversation about this. Uh, just a final comment for this. If you had the opportunity of telling students of bachelor language, uh, what would be the best piece of advice you could give them in order to be successful teachers or successful or finish successfully their program? What piece of advice you say? Well, I believe you have to.
Yeah. For every bachelor student, I always advise to be creative, to use a research in the classroom. When you use research in the classrooms, you are doing a lot. It's because you are experimenting your own practice with the students. Because the only one who knows his or her student is the classroom teacher. You have to do research with them. I mean, be a researcher in the classroom. Use um, use active research, right? Use research all the time, is because that is the only way to break through in the classroom and be a successful teacher.
Oh, teacher. Teacher, thank you very much. Well, guys, this was teacher Luis Perez and me. Well, I hope you like this video and this interview, which was very nourishing. Yes, and we could have a lot of things from the experience of this teacher and my own experience. So, teacher, I hope you like this, and we'll see each other next time. See you. Bye bye.
All right, thank you for inviting me.